You see, every morning is a birth. Not merely the rising of the sun, not merely the ticking of time that signals another day, but a genuine rebirth of consciousness. The moment you awaken from sleep, the world hasn't yet congealed into its usual patterns. It is still soft, still pliable, still waiting to be shaped by the words you say to yourself. Most people don't realize this. They wake up and immediately allow the old story to run again. I'm tired. I have too much to do. Nothing ever works out. Or it's just another day. And so, with these quiet spells of self-hypnosis, they cast the same old energy into motion. They rebuild yesterday with their words and call it today. But you, if you truly wish to awaken, you must understand the power that lies in the first few moments of your morning. Because in that tender space between the dream and the world, you are most powerful. The brain hasn't yet settled into the habitual patterns of identity. The subconscious mind is open, receptive, and listening. Whatever you say in those first few minutes does not simply echo, it imprints. So, I want you to do something very simple. When you wake up tomorrow, before the world comes rushing in, say this out loud. Today I am new. I am not bound by yesterday. I am a living expression of the infinite. I am open to life. You might think it's just words. But understand your biology listens to your belief. Every cell in your body is an intelligent participant in your consciousness. The sound of your own voice, spoken with awareness and sincerity, carries a vibrational signature that reorganizes your nervous system. The ancient mystics and the modern neuroscientists would agree on this in their own ways. The mystic says in the beginning was the word. The neuroscientist says speech patterns shape neural networks. Both are pointing to the same truth, that what you say becomes the architecture of your mind. When you say something out loud with emotion and presence, you are not merely reciting words. You are sending electric currents through your nervous system, broadcasting intention through your electromagnetic field, and sculpting your perception of reality. So if you wake up and say, I am tired, your nervous system adjusts accordingly. It prepares for fatigue. Your chemistry shifts, cortisol rises, and your brain tunes itself to a frequency of weariness. But if you rise and say, I am alive, I am filled with creative energy, life supports me in every way, your biology begins to mirror that command. That is not wishful thinking. That is programming. Every morning, you are either programming yourself or being programmed by the residue of yesterday. The difference lies in whether you speak with awareness. You see, every human being lives in two worlds, the inner world of thought and feeling, and the outer world of form and circumstance. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to the outer, trying to fix the symptoms of what they themselves have unconsciously declared within. But the wise learn to reverse the flow. They speak to the inner world first. They command their being through words infused with presence, and then the outer world rearranges itself accordingly. When I say command, I don't mean domination or control. I mean conscious participation. The word command here is not an act of force. It is an act of alignment. You are not telling the universe what to do. You are reminding yourself of what you already are. So, say it out loud every morning, not to convince yourself of something false, but to remember what's true. Because you are not merely a body that wakes up to face the world. You are the very awareness in which the world appears. You are the consciousness that animates all form, the silent witness of every sunrise, the timeless intelligence that breathes through all living things. And when you begin your morning by acknowledging that truth, by speaking it into being, the day itself becomes an extension of that awareness. But there's a subtle key to this practice. You must feel the words as you say them. The power is not in the phrase itself, but in the emotional resonance behind it. Emotion is the carrier wave of intention. It is what imprints the subconscious mind. So when you speak your morning declaration, speak slowly. Feel the vibration of each word as it leaves your lips. Let your voice be the bridge between your inner and outer worlds. Say it until you feel it. Say it until your body begins to respond. Because your body is always listening. You see, for most of us, the body has been conditioned by years of habitual emotion. Fear, doubt, and anxiety have been rehearsed so often that they've become muscle memory. You wake up and the body expects stress. It remembers yesterday's worry and automatically replays it, even before the mind begins to think. But when you speak new words, out loud each morning, words of power, words of truth, you begin to recondition the body to a new emotional baseline. You begin to teach it how to feel peace, how to feel trust, how to feel worthiness again. This is not positive thinking. This is biological transformation. Imagine for a moment that your morning words are like music, and your body is the instrument. Each time you repeat your declaration with feeling, you are tuning the instrument closer to harmony. You are training your nervous system to vibrate at a higher frequency, one that matches the reality you wish to experience. Now, let me tell you something profound. You cannot attract a new life from an old vibration. If you want to draw in abundance, love, clarity, or peace, you must first become the emotional equivalent of those states. The external conditions will not come first. They are drawn to you as a reflection of your inner coherence. So when you speak your morning words, you are not asking the world to change. You are aligning yourself with the frequency of the world you desire. And once you are aligned, manifestation becomes effortless. You no longer chase, you attract. The ancient masters called this wu-wei, the effortless flow of being, the art of doing without doing. It means that when your words, feelings, and actions are in harmony, you move with life rather than against it. You don't have to struggle or strive. You simply speak truth into being and allow life to respond. And this is why the morning is sacred, because it is the doorway through which consciousness enters form. It is the point of creation, where your vibration sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your day unconsciously, you will live unconsciously. If you begin it awake, aware, and intentional, you will walk through the day as a creator. So again, when you open your eyes tomorrow, before touching your phone, before recalling your past, before remembering who you think you are, pause, breathe, and say out loud, with all the feeling you can summon, today I am new, I am whole, I am in harmony with life. Say it again until it feels real, because that is how reality changes, not through effort, but through resonance. The brain, after all, is like an instrument of attention. When you focus on something long enough, you amplify it. You fire the same neural pathways, and by repetition, those pathways become more efficient. So if you focus on fear, the brain gets better at fear. If you focus on gratitude, it gets better at gratitude. Whatever you rehearse, you become. So the morning declaration is a way of rehearsing the truth. It's a form of spiritual training. You're teaching your brain to serve your spirit, rather than your past. Now, most people make the mistake of trying to change their lives by changing external circumstances, by rearranging the furniture of their experience. But the awakened ones understand that outer change follows inner realization. The moment you speak truth with conviction, your perception shifts. And as perception changes, so does the world you see. You cannot meet a new day with an old identity and expect transformation. That's why I say, the words you speak every morning are not small, they are cosmic. You are literally rewriting the code of your own reality. Think of it this way. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. It accepts whatever you declare with emotional intensity. So when you say, I am abundant, and you feel abundant, your subconscious begins to organize your perception around that belief. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities unfold. Coincidences seem to multiply, not because the universe suddenly changed, but because your inner state now allows you to perceive what was always there. The universe you see is not a vending machine dispensing rewards for positive thinking. It is a mirror, and your consciousness is the image it reflects. So speak not as a beggar asking for change, but as a creator remembering your power. When you say it out loud every morning, say it with the calm certainty that what you speak is already true in the timeless now. Because it is. You are the expression of the infinite looking back upon itself. You are the silence playing at being human. And your words, when aligned with that awareness, carry the authority of the cosmos. So say it again. I am whole. I am free. I am open to the miraculous flow of life. And then, most importantly, let go. After you have spoken, do not cling to the outcome. Do not look for signs or proof or immediate results. Simply rest in the feeling that it is already so, because that feeling is the proof. You see, faith is not belief without evidence. It is trust in the unseen process of becoming. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every few hours to see if it's growing. You trust the soil. You trust the sunlight. You trust the natural intelligence of life to do what it does best unfold. Your words each morning are like those seeds. And if you nurture them with feeling and attention, they must bear fruit. But here's the secret that many overlook. The transformation does not come because of what you say. It comes because of what you stop saying. When you stop repeating the language of limitation, when you no longer affirm your unworthiness, when you cease narrating your life as a story of lack and struggle, you make space for grace. Words are spells. The ones you repeat define the world you live in. So, my dear friend, the practice is not merely to add new affirmations, but to drop the old ones that never belonged to you. That's why the morning ritual is so powerful. It gives you a fresh slate every single day, a chance to erase the old narrative and write something new upon the canvas of consciousness. So tomorrow, when you wake, before the world remembers you, say it out loud. I am consciousness itself. I am not the past. I am this infinite unfolding now. And if you say it not as a mental trick, but as a moment of remembrance, something extraordinary will happen. You'll begin to feel lighter. The body will relax. The mind will grow quiet. You'll notice that the day begins to move differently. You'll find that people respond to you in new ways, that opportunities seem to appear with less effort, that time feels softer, kinder, almost as if reality itself is breathing with you. That's not magic. That's resonance. Because the outer world is not separate from you, it's a reflection of your state of being. When your inner world changes, the mirror shifts too. And so, each morning, as you speak these words, you are tuning yourself to the rhythm of life itself. You are no longer a fragment fighting against the whole you are, the whole expressing itself through this fragment called you. You see, awakening is not something that happens once in your lifetime. It happens every morning and every breath. Most people wait for enlightenment, as if it were a great event in the future, some final liberation after years of striving. But the truth is much simpler and far more immediate. You awaken each time you remember that you are not your thoughts. You awaken each time you remember that you are the one who speaks them into being. Every morning gives you the chance to practice this. That's why saying it out loud is not a ritual of superstition, it is an act of remembrance. It is how you call yourself back from the hypnosis of the world. Because the world, you see, is very good at convincing you that you are something small, just a name, just a face, just a story among billions. But in the quiet of the morning, before the noise begins, you have the opportunity to remember who you truly are. When you say, I am consciousness itself, you're not merely affirming a belief, you're realigning perception. You are stepping out of the narrow identification with the body and stepping into the vast awareness that animates it. And when you do that, life changes. It's as if the entire universe rearranges itself to mirror that expanded sense of self. You begin to meet people who reflect your new frequency. You start to see possibilities where before there were none. Your intuition sharpens. You trust yourself more, not because something out there is rewarding you, but because you've changed the filter through which you perceive reality. The neuroscientists might say, your reticular activating system, the brain's filter for attention, has shifted. You are now primed to see beauty, opportunity, synchronicity. The mystics, on the other hand, would simply say, you are waking up to the divine play. It's the same truth expressed through different languages. And so, each morning, when you speak your words of truth aloud, do not rush through them. Let them echo in your chest. Feel how they vibrate against your ribs, how the breath moves through your throat. You are not just making sound, you are shaping energy. Your voice, after all, carries your entire vibrational signature. That's why the great teachers of old used chanting, mantras, and sacred sound. They knew that vibration precedes matter, that the word is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you speak from the heart, you are literally reorganizing the quantum field around you. And yet don't turn this into a task. Don't wake up tomorrow thinking, I must say my morning mantra to manifest my desires. Because the moment it becomes an obligation, it loses its magic. Say it as a lover whispers the name of their beloved. Say it as the ocean sighs to the shore. Say it because you are remembering yourself. There's a tenderness to this practice that cannot be forced. When you speak from sincerity, not desire, not fear, but quiet, recognition something in you softens. You stop trying to control life and begin to trust its intelligence. And it's in that trust that miracles begin to move. You see, life has always been ready to meet you where you are, but it could only reflect the version of yourself you believed in. When you spoke limitation, it gave you limitation. When you spoke abundance, it gave you abundance. Not as punishment or reward, but as reflection. So say it out loud every morning to remind life who you choose to be today. Say, today I am calm, open, and ready for the unknown. Because the unknown, my friend, is where life truly happens. You've been conditioned to fear uncertainty, to cling to plans and predictions. But look closely. Everything you love, every discovery, every new beginning, every act of creation was born from the unknown. So instead of fearing it, welcome it. Speak to it. Say, I trust the unknown, for it is the womb of infinite possibility. When you start your day with that openness, something extraordinary happens. Your mind relaxes its grip on control. It stops trying to force outcomes. And in that relaxation, your energy begins to flow freely again. You become magnetic. You see, the greatest secret of attraction is not force, it's surrender. People think manifestation means pushing your will into the world. But true manifestation is the art of allowing. It's aligning yourself so deeply with the natural rhythm of life that everything you desire begins to flow toward you without resistance. That's why I say, just relax and allow. When you wake and speak your truth out loud, you're not commanding the universe, you're tuning yourself to it. You're remembering that life is not against you, it is you. The whole dance is happening as you. And when that realization takes root, gratitude naturally arises. Gratitude is the fragrance of alignment. It is not something you practice because you're supposed to it. It flows from recognizing that you are already held by something vast and intelligent and kind. So as you say your morning words, let gratitude color them. Say thank you, life, for another chance to see, to breathe, to love. Feel the warmth that follows. Let it fill your chest, because that feeling, that soft expansion of the heart, is what rewires your brain faster than anything else. Neuroscience now confirms what mystics have always known. Elevated emotions like gratitude and joy increase coherence in the brain and heart. They create a measurable electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond the body, influencing everything it touches. When you speak gratitude aloud each morning, you are literally broadcasting order into chaos. You are stabilizing your inner world so that the outer can reflect harmony. You become, quite literally, a transmitter of peace. And peace is contagious. It alters the behavior of others without you saying a word. That's why you must guard your first words of the day so carefully. Don't waste them on complaint or comparison. Don't reach for your phone and download the noise of the world before you've even remembered your own frequency. Instead, let your first words be sacred. Let them rise from silence, like sunlight emerging from the horizon of your heart. Say something like, I am guided. I am connected. I am safe in the flow of existence. Then breathe. In that breath, you will feel the entire rhythm of life moving through you, the inhale of creation, the exhale of surrender. That's the real prayer. Breathing consciously. When you speak and breathe in harmony, you begin to experience what I would call effortless being. Effortless being doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting from alignment rather than anxiety. It means your doing flows naturally from your being, without struggle or resistance. And that, my dear friend, is what these morning words are training you for to live not from memory, but from presence. Because when you live from presence, every action becomes spontaneous. Every encounter becomes sacred. You stop performing life and begin participating in it. And isn't that what you truly want? To feel alive, not someday, but now. When you wake and say, I am alive, don't say it as an idea. Feel the pulse in your hands. Feel the breath entering your lungs. Feel the miracle of awareness itself. For this moment is the only reality that has ever been. The rest is memory and imagination. That's why I say, speak your morning truth not to attract things, but to awaken to the fact that you already are everything you seek. When you realize that, The chase ends. You stop trying to become and start being. You see, the ego always wants to use these practices to improve itself, to become more spiritual, more powerful, more successful. But that's just the old game wearing new clothes. The real power of saying it out loud every morning lies in remembering that there was never anything to fix, only illusions to release. When you say, I am whole, you are not making yourself whole. You are remembering that you always were. When you say, I am love, you are not manufacturing love. You are peeling away the layers that made you forget. Every word you speak in awareness dissolves a little more of the dream of separation. And soon, you begin to laugh because you see that you've been the ocean pretending to be a drop all along. Then everything becomes lighter. The seriousness dissolves. You realize that even your mistakes were part of the dance.